The FIFA World Cup is just 20 days away, and Thomas Tuchel has named his England squad for the upcoming tournament, and it has caused a lot of outrage and controversy in the English media. But we're going to be talking about his selection, what I think on the overall team selection, who's been left out, because there's been some big names excluded, and do I agree with his decisions, and what I think will happen in the upcoming World Cup with the squad we have got in the tournament. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But let's get straight into the video, guys. As you guys can see here, it is just 20 days away, the World Cup, and the first games, hey man, it's going to be insane. I can't believe it is starting on the 11th of June. Obviously in the US, Canada, and Mexico, who will kick off the World Cup. England don't play their first game until a few days after, guys. There's quite a lot of teams playing before we play Croatia on the 17th, so nearly a week after the start. But that's going to be a huge game in our group, obviously, and we've got a group that is never easy, guys. You can never overlook a group. We know what happened in 2018 and before that. I mean, we've had groups that look easy on paper and we've made an absolute meal out of it. And even in the tournaments like the Euros, we've struggled to even make it out at times. But this is a big tournament, not just obviously for England, but for Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel, a name that a lot of people are questioning right now for his selections. And I'm going to talk about it because, as you guys know, this morning we got the squad announcement for the upcoming tournament. And it is as follows. I'm going to read out the names here. So in goal, we've got 3 goalkeepers. We've got Dean Henderson of Crystal Palace, Jordan Pickford of Everton, and James Trafford of Man City. And then in the defenders, we've got Dan Burn, Mark Gahey, Reece James, Konza, Livramento, O'Reilly, Kwanzaa, Spence, and Stones. Very, very interesting picks. And midfielders, Elliot Anderson, Bellingham, Eze, Henderson, Mainu, Rice, and Rodgers. And the attackers finally are Gordon, Kane, Madueke, Rashford, Saka, Tony, and Watkins. So you guys, let me know what you think, because there's quite a few names here that have been very heavily criticised and questioned. I like this layout a lot more by the BBC, the way they've just put it in a simple list. And if you're looking at keepers, there's nothing wrong here. Let's be real. Pickford's going to be the starter. The other two are just backup. But defenders is where it gets very interesting, because Reece James, I think, is our best right back when he's fully fit, and I understand that. No Trent, which I think everyone expected, including myself. He didn't even make the last games, guys. He wasn't called up to an astonishingly big squad before, so what made anyone think he was going to make this? I think it's kind of crazy that he isn't there, but at the same time, guys, this is Thomas Tuchel's squad. He's here to implement his style and his tactics, and he just doesn't believe Trent is going to have any contribution from right back. He likes to have a more well-rounded fullback. Defensively, he likes them to be able to defend a lot. Trent isn't the worst defensively. I think he gets over-criticised, but he's not the best, and James is far better in terms of defending. So Livramento's an interesting one as well, over Lewis Hall. That's where I have a bit of qualms. Now, obviously, he can play both sides. He can actually play right back and left back, and he's more of a right back. So I do think that it is going to be probably Spence is, again, both-sided, but he's even more both-sided. So it could be O'Reilly and Spence on the left with Livramento and James on the right, or it could be O'Reilly and Livramento on the left with James and Spence on the right. It's up to Tuchel. Let me know what you think of that. But I think Lewis Hall is incredibly unlucky not to get in. I've always said I really rate him highly. As a left back, I even think he's edging it over O'Reilly in terms of defending. And from left back position, I just think he's more natural as a left back. O'Reilly's fantastic and I'm glad he's there. But he's been playing a lot more midfield and that's his natural position. Like Lewis Skelly. But it's not the worst decision in the world, but I do think it's a bit questionable. Especially Livramento, because he has been injured for quite a while, but he's a good player. Very good player. So it's not the worst of the lot. Now, we've also got John Stones there. Now, with me, guys, I've always liked John Stones, especially when he was in his pomp, in his prime. That UCL final performance at centre mid was mental. But, guys, John Stones in 2026 if you look at the minutes he's played this season, it is virtually non-existent. He's been injured throughout the season, and when he's been fit, he's just been a bench player. Now, you could say dressing room, and obviously for England, he's actually quite good. He's very good. He's one of our best defenders in other tournaments. But will he be able to stay injury-free throughout this tournament? It's a huge tournament, and a lot of people think we must win it because we've come so close, and we haven't won it since '66. So we're one of the favourites, as always. And looking at the squad, do you think John Stones will be starting every game and he'll be able to stay fit? Because I'm looking at centre-back. I think our best partnership is actually Guéhi and Konsa, guys. I think they complement each other very well. Now, Stones and Guéhi is very solid as well. We saw that in the Euros a few years back. And I don't really mind who plays, but I think Konsa's been brilliant for Aston Villa. And Guéhi's obviously taken a step up to City. Hasn't been as impactful as he was at Palace, obviously. But he's been good, very solid for the most part. So let me know what you think there, guys, if you agree with that. But I knew he was going to go. I'm just interested to see if you think Stones will start for England. Kwanzaa's an interesting one because he's obviously in the Bundesliga. Guys, I can't say I watch Bundesliga, I'm going to be honest. And Leverkusen, he obviously played against Arsenal. I don't think he did anything too wrong, but we obviously beat them quite comfortably. With Kwanzaa, I think he's quite lucky to make it. He's definitely talented, but there's probably bigger names that should be in that position. Now, obviously, he's not going to start Kwanzaa. He's a backup, and he can play right back, and I think he's decent. But again, is it really someone you want to rely on if someone gets injured? I'm not too sure. Then we got Dan Burn, which is another interesting one, guys. With Dan Burn, I think he's very, obviously a threat from set pieces. He's very tall and can score headers, for sure. And he's actually been okay for England. There's been some games where you're looking at him and he looks a bit out of place. But he's a decent defender. Now, this season, he's been pretty poor for Newcastle when I've watched him. He has been playing at left-back, to be fair to him. And when you got the pace of Dan Burn, it's not really good to be playing him at left-back. But again, when is he going to contribute? Like, unless we have a dead rubber, so to speak, is he going to actually contribute? And would his place be better used elsewhere, maybe in the midfield, or with a midfielder in his place, or a different defender? We're going to go through who's been left out because there's been big names, including Harry Maguire, which I think is a very shocking one. But in the midfield, I mean, I knew there was going to be a few 10s left out. We know we got so many. We got Palmer, Eze, Rodgers, Gibbs-White as well, and Palmer, Foden. Like, there's so many 10s, with Bellingham also being able to play there. But I knew he was going to leave out a few. Did I expect him to leave out Palmer and Foden? No. But I don't really disagree with it. I think Bellingham is obviously one of our best players. And Rodgers has been pretty good throughout the season for Villa. He's dropped off a few times, but he's been a standout for them. And obviously Eze, he's more in the forwards because he can actually play 10 and he can play on the left. So maybe he is actually going to be used on the left. We'll have to wait and see, but he's a fantastic player. And yeah, he hasn't been consistently great for us, but he's a difference maker, and you need those. But yeah, in the forwards, Tony's a surprising one. Obviously in Saudi, but he's a very good penalty taker, and he's been at tournaments, he's got the experience, and he's going to be an understudy. Do I agree with him taking 3 strikers? Maybe not. I mean, Watkins and Kane's probably enough, but we'll have to wait and see what he does there. And obviously, Gordon Rashford, Madueke has caused controversy. Guys, with Madueke, I don't get this narrative because everyone's like, oh my God, why is Noni there over Palmer and Foden? Like, guys, are you okay in the head? He is a backup for Saka, just like he is for Arsenal, on the right. Would you want to play Palmer and Foden on the right over Madueke as a backup? It doesn't make sense. They're both 10s. That's their natural position. Madueke is a right winger. He's going to be backup for Saka. And when he has played for England, he's actually been pretty good, guys. He's been very good, especially in those friendlies. He looked really bright. And coming off the bench, he adds some energy and pace into the team. And if you're looking at Bowen, who's been brilliant for West Ham, don't get me wrong, he is probably going to get relegated. But for England, he just hasn't had that impact. He hasn't done anything for England of note. And yes, Madueke hasn't either, but he's shown a lot more in the games he has played. Go check the stats. But yeah, interesting, guys. Interesting. I'm going to stop waffling about that because we got a squad here of players that have missed out. And you're looking at the names. Some of them, like Nick Pope, did we really expect him to be there? Colwill is injured, has just come back from a nearly year-long injury, guys. He was out since July, and he only came back like a few weeks ago, was it? So I wasn't surprised at that. Maguire was very surprising, though. I think for England, yes, maybe not in the friendly games we saw last time, but over the last tournaments, he's been one of our best defenders. And you're looking at Man U this season, you could argue, without him in the defence, they may have lost a few more games. For Carrick, he's been really good. He's had the resurgence, if you want to call it. But for England, he always does a job. Penalties, big goals, and big blocks. He's always there. Slabhead. He's a different player for England. He always has been. So I think that is a bit surprising. I would have liked to maybe see him there, even if he doesn't start every game. But again, if you're looking at the squad, it's just Tuchel doesn't fancy him, guys. It's as simple as that. He'd rather have, obviously, Konza starting over him and Stone starting over him. You don't need, obviously, to rotate centre-backs unless one gets injured. So he'd rather have Kwanzaa as a backup with Burn instead of, obviously, having Maguire and headaches of who to start. He just doesn't want to start Maguire, which obviously a lot of Man U fans are going to be fuming with. And I don't really agree with what he's done there. But Hall as well, I think, is very unfortunate. I would have taken Hall over Livramento and Spence, in my opinion. Spence is a decent player, though. Like, I know he plays for Spurs, and they might still get relegated. They've been abysmal, but I think he's a really talented player. He can play both sides. So when I made my video a few months back, I said that he should go. And I think versatility in the defence is a good one, because he won't start, but he's a very decent option to have. But I don't think him and Livramento were needed. I think only one of them, because they're versatile, was needed. I would have probably gone Spence because of Livramento's injury problems. Spence, and then I would have taken Lewis Hall as well, but that's just me. And then you're looking at Gibbs-White. It's very unfortunate for him. He's been brilliant final stretch to the end of the season. He's been the most in-form England player in the league, hands down. Some brilliant goals, and he's the top scorer, I believe, in the Prem for English players. So if you're looking at it, he's very unlucky. But at the same time, guys, was he ever going to get in over Rodgers, Bellingham, Eze, Palmer, Foden? Probably not. I would have taken him, obviously, over Palmer and Foden. But if you're looking at the rest of them, you could make a case he's been on better form than Eze, but Eze's just more of a difference maker, in my opinion, guys. And Eze has that quality. I don't think Morgan Gibbs-White is as good as him. And I'm not being biased. I'm an Arsenal fan, but come on, guys. You're looking at Eze's moments this season. Big goals, insane ball striking. It's understandable. And he was never going to start over Rodgers, because Rodgers throughout the season has been on form, and Gibbs-White has hit very good form recently, and he's pushed to the final stretch, but he won't get the game time either. So would it have been a bit of a waste of a spot? Wharton's unlucky, though, guys, because I think, in my opinion, that the worst pick of all of this is Henderson. Like, sorry, guys. I know he's dressing room, and he can... Obviously, he's a good leader, great captain for Liverpool. But, guys, he is 35 years old, and he started the season good for Brentford, and he hasn't played at all second half of the season. He's barely been playing, from what I've seen. I could be wrong there, but if you look at his minutes, most games he's on the bench for them. Yes, he's a leader in the dressing room, but, guys, we've got Stones for that, who will actually play as well under Tuchel. So Henderson's a weird one, man. He's not going to play. It's going to be Rice and Anderson. It just doesn't make sense. And Mainoo's obviously a rotation player that can come on and show something, because he's a very bright talent. With Henderson, I think he's just a bit past it, guys. So with Wharton, I would have rather Wharton than Henderson, but I think Tuchel just values experience more in some of these decisions. But then you're looking at Maguire, who has experience as well. That doesn't really make sense to me. Bowen, I've already spoken about. Unlucky, but understandable. Palmer and Foden, I've spoken about as well. If you're looking at talent, if you were looking a few years ago, Euros, and you're saying Foden and Palmer won't make the World Cup, you'd think I was crazy if I said that to you a few years back. But Palmer, he's struggled throughout the season. I think he's carrying an injury, guys. Chelsea fans think that as well. Maybe he needs to get surgery on, I think it's his groin. He's been carrying an injury. You can see it. He's a very talented player, difference maker as well. So I wouldn't have been against taking him on the bench. I said that in my video. But if you're looking at who's above him in terms of tens, you can understand it again, guys. You got Eze, Rodgers, and Bellingham, who can obviously play there. And Bellingham will probably start there. But yeah, Palmer, Foden. And Foden, it's even different, because he's been on the bench for a lot of the season. He had a little run November, December time where he was scoring a lot. showing his best again. But then Pep's just completely benched him second half of the season. He's barely played. So it's very understandable. And if you're looking at what he's done for England, he's never done too much for England. Fantastic talent, Foden. Don't get it twisted. I mean, PFA Player of the Year 2 years ago. He's brilliant and he's a difference maker. But for England, he hasn't had that. Even Palmer, like, he came on in the Euro final and scored. Foden's never had that moment for England. Like, guys, I literally can't think of a single moment. But yeah, and Calvert-Lewin, there was just too many strikers, I think, ahead. Now, if you're looking at our squad in the last World Cup, the last World Cup, obviously, we played in, the squad has changed drastically. I mean, you got Sterling, Mount, Grealish, Trippier, Dyer, Connor Cody, Calvin Phillips, Gallagher, Maddison, Wilson. Like, I know a lot of people are complaining, but our squad is definitely better than it was. Now, obviously, you got quite a few of the same players. Rice, Bellingham, Henderson's still there. I don't know how. Saka, Kane, and then you've got Stones, but Pickford as well. Shaw, a lot of Man U fans wanted. I don't think he's good enough, guys, in my opinion. Maguire, I think, is very unlucky. I said that. And Walker is beyond his best. That is for sure. But yeah, these were the names that have been left out. I've mentioned pretty much all of these. I think the only ones from here that should be really hard done by that they've been left out are probably Lewis, Hall and Maguire, guys, if I'm being 100% honest. Gibbs White's unlucky, but he was never going to play. Wharton is unlucky as well. Wharton, I think, could be with Maguire and Hall and feeling really hard done by, because how is Henderson getting in over Wharton? Apart from experience, doesn't make sense to me. Trent, I would say, me personally, because I think he's fantastic ability-wise, but we knew Tuchel was never going to pick him. He didn't even pick him for the last friendlies in the 50-man squad or whatever it was. And the rest, I think, says it all. Lewis Skelly, I'm an Arsenal fan, guys. I think he's more than talented enough to go. I just don't think he played enough. And Tuchel said that. I didn't expect him to get called up. But look at the impact Skelly's had for us. He's been a pivotal player in winning us the league. We had that run, Man City times, where we were losing. Bournemouth as well. Skelly wasn't playing. He put Skelly in the midfield with Rice. We go unbeaten rest of the season. I rest my case. But he'll get in next time, man. He's so good. So good. He's way too good not to be considered. And I think he was. It was just the minutes. And would he actually get game time in this squad? I think Anderson and Rice were always going to be above him in the midfield. And then left back, he can play there. I don't think he's as good there, but it's like O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly's better in the midfield as well. So, interesting but not surprising. Maguire was shocked, and he actually made a statement saying he was confident. And I tend to I understand why he's gutted, because he has played good parts in quite a few tournaments. And Tuchel obviously said we had a conversation, and he didn't say this when they spoke, so a bit of a clash there. But Tuchel, this is the thing. This is what he's been brought in to do, guys. Be ruthless and pick the right players. With Southgate, he was a bit of a nice guy, and you saw that in the final tournaments. I'm going to give Southgate tremendous credit for what he's done. He's brought England back together in major tournaments and given us belief we can win again. So big up to Southgate. I'm never going to throw shade at him, but I think he'd outstayed, like, at the end, guys. It was time. It was time for Southgate to go, because he didn't have that management skill set that Tuchel has in terms of being ruthless, picking the right teams. The tactics as well were questioned, but it was more the team selection. Southgate was a manager that loved to pick all the big names and just throw them all into one team, and it never really worked. Bailed out by individual brilliance at times. But with Tuchel, he's been ballsy as hell. He's like, fuck this. I'm leaving these guys at home. I don't care what anyone has to think. I'm picking the players I think are going to work as a team. And that is key, guys. It's not about the names and the individual players that have been left out. It's about the team and the chemistry. And he thinks this selection is the best possible team that is going to click to win us the tournament. So I don't disagree. And I think the starting lineup he's going to go with is going to be as follows. Pickford in goal with Reece James at right back. And I think O'Reilly will start at left back. And I could see Stones and Gahey starting, guys, in the World Cup. Konza maybe rotating in. But Konza, Gahey, Stones, Konza. It's up to you. I think Stones, Gahey complement each other really well. And Konza and Gahey do too. So let me know what you think. And then in the midfield, he's definitely going to be picking Rice, Anderson, and Bellingham. Rice, Anderson, Bellingham. Maybe Rice, Anderson, Rodgers. Or, like, guys, I don't see a way. Like, Rice and Anderson are nailed on for me in this Tuchel setup. They are not. Those two together are brilliant. He's not going to separate. He loves Anderson too much to not play him. And Rodgers maybe rotated in, but Bellingham, I think, is nailed on as well. And obviously, Saka, Rashford, Kane, in my opinion, will be the front three. Kane and Saka are nailed on as well. They're like, guys, the players that are 100% going to start are Pickford, Saka, Kane, Rice. Those are the 4 pillars of this England squad. And then the rest of them, obviously James probably if he's fully fit. And I think Rashford, I think he's definitely going to start him over Gordon. That's just my opinion, guys. But let me know what you think about this World Cup squad. Do you think Tuchel's got it extremely wrong? Do you think, like, we've made the right choices? And what do you think about our last World Cup squad compared to this? Because, guys, I'm optimistic. I am questioning a few of his decisions, though. But I'm not as outraged as a lot of fans are. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't really have allegiances to players that have been left out. But I do understand the frustration. But, guys, what we've got to do is get behind this now. Like, I understand you're going to have your qualms with a lot of the decisions, but let's see if it works. If it does work, Tuchel's a genius, and you got to give him flowers. So let's just back the team. And see what happens. But a lot of fans are gutted and really not optimistic now with this squad. But if you're looking at the squad, it's well balanced. You can see the chemistry. We'll have to wait and see, guys. I'm not as outraged as a lot of English media outlets are, but you know what the English media is like, guys. But make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe if you're new. It's been Jay-Z Knows, bought and I'm out. Peace out, guys. Take care.